Today, I traded Jaylen Brown to a random NBA team. As I'm sure you know, Jaylen Brown has been in trade rumors for quite a while now, especially following the Celtics' loss to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. But nobody knows if the trades are ever going to happen or what team he's going to go to if a trade does happen. So today, I'm going to go into 2K, trade Jaylen Brown to a random NBA team, and see how the season turns out for the Celtics and for his new team. I'm back, and I've got the league loaded up. What we're going to be doing is I'll throw Jaylen Brown into the trade finder. We'll see how many teams offer him. We'll take those teams and put them on a wheel. Once we have that wheel, we're going to spin it. The wheel will randomly select one of the teams. And once we have that team that it selects, we'll hop back over to 2K and we'll execute the trade. Following the trade, we're going to see how both teams perform throughout the season, if the Celtics get worse or if they get better after Jaylen Brown leaves. But let's take a look at the Celtics. Their roster is pretty much the same as last year. They have all of the big name players still there. They have a couple different names at the very bottom that I believe they picked up in free agency. But top to bottom, it's pretty much the same roster. All right, I'm heading over to the trade finder. We're going to put Jaylen Brown in, see what types of offers we get. So first we have the Sixers, then we have the Bucks, the Bulls. The Hawks are a good offer in my opinion. So are the Kings. We have the Nets, Nuggets, Pistons, Spurs, T-Wolves, Blazers, and the Warriors. And then finally we have the Wizards. So now I'm going to take those teams. We're going to put them on a wheel, and we're going to see which team it chooses. Let's spin the wheel. Okay, it's looking like it's going to be the Nuggets or the Nets. So we're going to go back to 2K and take the Nets offer. Okay, so we have the Nets offer here, and it's an interesting offer. I think it's a little bit unbalanced. The Nets seem to be getting the better end of the deal because Mikal Bridges is simply a downgrade from Jaylen Brown, and then Dorian Finney-Smith won't play that much for the Celtics, I assume. But we'll go ahead and we'll execute the trade. There we go. Now let's go ahead and check on the rosters. Okay, let's check on the Celtics roster. Looks pretty similar. Obviously, Jaylen Brown for Mikal Bridges and Peyton Pritchard for Dorian Finney-Smith. So Finney-Smith is actually a depth piece for them, a rotational piece. So I think they look arguably even more complete than they did. But let's go ahead and sim a couple games and see how they do. Okay, so our first game is versus the Rockets. We'll sim through the game and see how the team looks. We'll check the box score, see how they performed. Oh my, a huge win for the Celtics. Jason Tatum and Malcolm Brogdon both dropped 30. Mikal Bridges, a good defensive game, 2 steals and a block. Overall, very efficient. Great first game. They held the entire Rockets team to under 12 points. Nobody on the Rockets scored more than 11 points. That is crazy. Let's go ahead and sim a couple weeks, see how the team is looking. So a loss to the Nets in a close game. A 1-point win versus the Spurs, a loss to the Pacers, a win versus the Pelicans, and a win versus the Bucks. So they're 4-2 through the first couple weeks. So it's looking pretty good. Jason Tatum with a huge game here, dropping 43, Malcolm Brogdon with 33 again. It's looking like those two are going to be putting out most of the scoring. Giannis with a big game, but held the rest of the Bucks to low scoring. Jason Tatum with another gigantic game. If he keeps doing this, I don't even know. I mean, he might mess around and average 40. Benedict Mathurin with 29. They had 5 people score 20. That is crazy. Having 5 people score 20 I personally have never seen it. Okay, let's see the Spurs game. So Fred VanVleet was doing well for them. Must have picked him up in free agency over the offseason. Okay, taking a look at the Eastern Conference standings here. Celtics are 4-2. The Nets are 3-3. Looking pretty even through the first couple weeks. All right, let's take a look at the player stats here. Jason Tatum averaging 38, 11, and 6. Gigantic numbers for him. Mikal Bridges averaging 17 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Not the greatest assist and rebound numbers, but he's taken a reduced role now that he's here at the Celtics. As for Jaylen Brown, he's averaging 42. Jaylen Brown is averaging 42. If he keeps this up, he might mess around and win MVP if he brings his team to the playoffs, because 2K doesn't like giving MVPs to lower-ranked players. But I'll go ahead and sim to the All-Star break. We'll check back in and see how they're doing. Okay, so we're at the All-Star break now. I'm going to go in and we'll auto-draft both teams, see if Tatum, Brown, or Bridges made it, and if they're starting or if they're reserves. So going in here, we'll auto-draft the picks. So Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both starting. Mikal Bridges did not make the All-Star game. So great season so far for Tatum and Brown. Still a good season for Mikal Bridges. He just doesn't have the stats to show for it. Let's go ahead and we'll check on how their stats are looking at this point in the season. We've got the stats loaded up. Jason Tatum still averaging 36. Absolute mind-boggling numbers for him. Getting a double-double with rebounds, putting up 5 assists. Mikal Bridges averaging 15 points, shooting pretty efficiently. He has a steal and a half per game. Shooting 50% from the field. Absolutely wild. Tatum shooting 52% from the field. So obviously they're both shooting very efficiently. Let's go ahead. Let's check on Jaylen Brown. Still averaging 38, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 55% from the field. He's making 4.5 threes per game. He's shooting 43% from 3. That is ridiculous efficiency for how much he's shooting it. But let's go ahead. We'll now sim to the end of the season, see if anybody won any awards, what happened there. So at the end of the season, as per usual, Luka Doncic is your MVP, averaging a 30-point triple-double, shooting over 50% from 3. Walker Kessler is your Rookie of the Year. Had some great numbers, 15 and 15 for him. Jakob Poeltl is your 6th Man of the Year. Giannis is your DPOY. Tyler Herro is your Most Improved. Quinn Snyder is the Coach of the Year. Now let's take a look at the All-NBA teams. So on All-NBA, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on first team. Great years for both of them. All-NBA second team. Let's see who's on there. Nobody that we care about or we're following. All-NBA third team again. Nobody makes it. All-defensive first. Nobody from our teams made it. But all-defensive second, Tatum and Mikal Bridges both made it. Great seasons for both of them. We don't have any rookies that we're following. So let's go ahead and we'll check on the playoffs, see where both teams ended up in the standings. All right, we're in the playoffs. The Celtics made a 2 seed. The Nets are the 9 seed. They have to fight through the play-in. Let's simulate the play-in, see if the Nets end up making the playoffs. So the Nets win the first game. Now they have to beat Washington. Let's check the box score. Jaylen Brown with a huge game, 39 points, 14 for 23 shooting. Very efficient. Ben Simmons with a double-double. Great game from Brown. He's just been carrying them every single game that we've checked in. The Raptors were pretty spread out scoring-wise. Had 5 people score 10. Let's see if the Nets can win the second game and make it into the playoffs. So they do, unfortunately, lose. Washington ends up beating them. So Washington becomes the 8th seed, and the Celtics are going to play the Knicks in the first round. Let's simulate the round, see if the Celtics come away with it or not. Okay, so the Celtics are up 1-0, now 2-0, now 3-0. And they win game 4. They sweep the Knicks going on to the second round to play the Miami Heat, who beat the Bucks in 7 games. Let's go ahead and get this simulation started. See who will move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So the Celtics up 3. The Celtics sweep the Heat. Also, they're going on to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Cavs, who won in 6 versus the Hawks. All right, so the teams here, the Cavs are the same, and you've obviously seen the Celtics. So I think this is a pretty even matchup. Cavs definitely have some great players. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell might be the best backcourt in the entire NBA. Let's go ahead. Let's sim a game. See how series shakes out. So the Celtics take game 1. All right. And game 2 goes to the Celtics also. They have a commanding 2-0 lead. Let's simulate the round because I'm assuming they'll win. Yes, they do. They win in 4. That makes 3 straight sweeps for the Celtics on the way to the finals. They're going to be playing the Suns in the Eastern Conference Finals, game 4. Donovan Mitchell had a crazy game, dropping 45. But Tatum and Brogdon both dropped 30 again. The dynamic duo back at it again, taking the Celtics to the promised land. They're going to have a chance at their 18th NBA championship right here. Let's check out the teams. So you've obviously seen the Celtics, but the Suns look similar. Chris Paul, D-Book, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, all back. Kalon Martin is now their starting small forward. So it's definitely going to be a good matchup in the finals. Hopefully not a sweep. Okay, so the Suns do take game 1 here. They hand the Celtics their first loss of the playoffs. That's right, their first loss, behind a big game from Kevin Durant and pretty good games from Booker and Paul. But Mikal Bridges with a great game here, extremely efficient. Jason Tatum, he scored a decent bit, but below his usual standards. So let's see about game 2 here. It's a Celtics win. So they tied up 1-1 behind a big game from Tatum. He bounced back. But Mikal Bridges took a step back from his scoring. Let's go ahead and check on game 3. Okay, game 3 is a Celtics win. That's huge for them. They take the momentum, and they're now up 2-1 in the series. Big game from Tatum, shooting 14 for 24. Good game from Bridges with 3 steals, 50% shooting. D-Book with a good game, Paul and Durant also, but Ayton was absolutely nowhere to be found for the Suns. Let's go ahead and check on game 4. So a pivotal game 4 here is a Celtics win that almost guarantees them the series win. KD with a good game, but D-Book and Chris Paul underperform a little bit to their standards. Gigantic game from Tatum, 53 points in game 4. Those are MVP numbers. Jason Tatum has been playing crazy this entire season, making it seem like he does not need Jaylen Brown. We're going to go ahead and simcast game 5. We're going to jump in if it's a close game or if the Celtics are going to win so that we can see their celebration. Okay, so early it's back and forth. The Suns have an advantage. It's close here. It's looking like it's going to be the Suns. And yes, the Suns are able to close it out. A 14-point win, so we're going to game 6. Jason Tatum with a big game, 37, but that's not enough. What did the Suns do? KD, gigantic game from KD in a potential elimination game. He drops 48, going 16 for 25 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 11 for 11 from the charity stripe. He had a perfect game to send them to Game 6. We'll simcast this one as well. If it's close, we'll jump in. Or if the Celtics are going to win, we'll jump in to see their celebration. So it's back and forth here. Suns have an advantage. It's looking like it's going to be the Celtics, but we'll jump in just to see their celebration. The Celtics are going to close out Game 6 here, following a sequence of made free throws, and they will be the 2024 NBA champions, following the trade of Jaylen Brown. Which begs the question, was Jaylen Brown holding them back the entire time? They were able to make 3 conference finals, make the finals one time, but they never got a ring to show for it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was Jaylen Brown helping them? Was he hurting them? Is this just a fluke? Let me know down below. But yeah, the Celtics, an amazing playoff run. Congratulations to them. Let's see who becomes Finals MVP. Jason Tatum is going to be the 2024 Finals MVP, averaging 37 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. Great play by the Celtics all throughout the playoffs to win them the title, and ultimately an unexpected result considering who they had to trade. This is going to be the end of the video, and as always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me see that you enjoy the content, as well as helping you see more of my content. And with that being said, have a great rest of your day. Parallel Footage, out.